Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Troy, A Total War Saga here today on the channel. We're back with episode 3 of my Aeneas Let's Play. Here today's episode, we're going to be declaring war upon the Thracian tribes to the north. We're going to be going out and hopefully thrashing some Thracians, as it were. So, if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like, subscribe if you're new around here with notifications on. Let me know in the comments feedback and suggestions for the series and where you'd like me to expand and conquer. Got to say a huge thank you to the Creative Assembly for sending me free early access code of Troy and making this Let's Play possible. So a huge thank you to them and their community team. If you do make a purchase on the Epic Games Store, remember to use SimpzyTotalWar as the creator code. I'd really much appreciate it. So we're going to be declaring war against the Syntholi, I think that's how you say their name. There's also some smaller scattered Thracian tribes we're going to go up against as well. The Anios and the Sickons, I think they were. So divine will wise, we've got Ares nice up and high, talking to the voices of the dead. We might as well do that for now. Done. Yeah. 400 food. I quite like that. But the minus favour to the gods isn't the best. Overly. So in the last episode, guys, if you haven't gone and watched it, highly recommend you do. We had one of our first mythical units in action, the Satyr, who managed to spellbind his way through one of our cities, and he's got a really cool and unique ability that he can build a tier 4 settlement which takes 5 turns instantly. We chose that buff with him, so if you want to go see mythical units like himself, go check out the Satyr Grover, that I like to call him. So we're going to sacrifice to the gods here. Looking at the auto resolve, yeah, look, it's about a... Look, I could auto-resolve this one, but look, nah, I'm going to play it. We need a battle first up. And this is our first against the Thracians. So there's 3 ways to attack. Let's get stuck right into them. So I've gone through my reforms. You could say this is Aeneas's Marian reforms, or Aeneas's reforms, if you were. We've got a lot of medium swordsmen now, 2 units of spears, and 6 units of skirmishes, and 1 savage centaur unit. Aeneas, although he's well, it's probably more realistic because he's quite a strong and potent faction. He's the second best fighter in Troy in divine duels, in my opinion. He's only second to the mighty Achilles. But he does have a distinct lack of archers and skirmishers in his build, because honestly, if he did have skirmisher prowess, he'd probably be unstoppable. I'm not going to lie. He's got such fantastic swordsmen and clubmen at his disposal. But we do have a severe lack of mythical units. Maybe if we cross the Mediterranean over to northern Thrace into the mountains, we might be able to encounter mythical beings that we can gauge our recruitment. Now we're just unfortunately not getting enough deployment zone here. So we're going to divide up into 3 squadrons. Let's have a look at the Savage Centaur soldiers. I do quite like the look of them. They're not overly too effective in Troy just due to the battlefield side reduction. However, mopping up enemy units, getting those chevrons nice and high are useful, and you can target hammer and rotate and get some hammer and anvil strikes on some certain areas. But in a siege, I don't know how they're going to overly perform. Here is Aeneas, the first Roman, the father of Rome himself, is forging a mighty, free, and sort of an independent Trojan kingdom, if you will. He is going to be the one to stand against the tide of chaos, as it were, the tide against the Trojans. The Danans must be coming shortly. So we're about 50 turns or so, can't remember exactly. But we started off at the top of the episode, and we're going to be pushing against Thracians. Depending on how well we do in this war, we could very well sort of wrap down through Macedon, northern Thessaly. Let me know if you agree or disagree. That's probably like a good optimal plan. I actually kind of wouldn't mind going up towards the Bosphorus, going up towards what was Constantinople and sort of Turkey there, Nicomedia, that sort of region there, because you are always better off, especially in Total War to consolidate your empire towards the border of the map, because you're basically invincible from there, depending in Warhammer. And I actually don't know if we get like 150 turns, 200 turns, are they going to be roaming hordes in events to sort of slow you down? That's a thing that happens in these later Total Wars that can happen. But I've done 100 turns with Achilles, and I haven't experienced the same thing. So we're now slowly but surely pushing up against the militia swordsmen. So they've got 2 bowmen inside. The Thracians are a different race that we're facing. And yeah, I wonder if early Thracians are pretty much the same, because we had a bit of a discussion, and a lot of you guys in the comments were reading as well. I was sort of questioning and talking about early Macedonian, Bronze Age Macedonians. Obviously they don't have those Hellenic influences at this time period. They're more sort of a key to the barbarians, but you would imagine they'd probably be more so influenced and probably similar. Like, do Bronze Age Thracians change overly too much to, well, in my opinion, the height of their kingdom being the Adrician kingdom, which we see in Rome too. So we're just trying to skirmish as many of them out as we can here, and they're holding us quite well in a couple of areas. We have Aeneas currently dueling it out with the Thracian bow lord, as it were. And we have his adopted son and heir, Romulus, while Remus is defending our back tier province. Oh, come on. I told you to target further units at the back. You wish you had some self-preservation there, mate. They got reduced when I wasn't paying attention. Simpzy gets cinematic shots, they're so cool. Then I can't see and get caught. Units, that's it. The cost is units stay idly by, and I get caught in some situations. My bad. That's on me. Okay. Yeah, so we're actually somehow managing to drag and draw out militia warband here. Okay. Let's try and move them up. We might be able to wrap up around and get them. Confederation-wise as well, some of you guys wanted me to strike and hit the Trojans in and around me, the weaker ones. I'm going to say no, because I want to keep my relations up nice and high. It all adds up, especially on veteran difficulty. We don't want to basically give Hector, Paris, Sarpedon any reason for us to be declined to Confederation. Now Romulus has been thrown back here. I don't know why he's in a full retreat, because I guess he just got phased out. That's an incredible shame there. He's at what, 90%. We already, as we slowly but surely conquer and expand, we will get a debuff to the great power penalty. Now, this is a bit of a criticism I have, particularly in the later Total Wars. You have the great power penalty, which I personally can't stand, because you get in the diplomacy buff as you slowly but surely build up your empire, you conquer, you get more territories, you become a strategic threat, and then you get a debuff to diplomacy to 20 to 30%, and it kind of throws sometimes diplomacy out the window. For example, if I really worked on the Amazonians, like really worked on them, and wanted to ally up with them, that can sometimes get negated, that hard work on these veteran difficulties, and the higher difficulties up to legendary, because of that great power penalty. So I'm not overly too much of a fan of it, but to be saying that, maybe it balances stuff a little bit better, and eventually once mods hit the workshop, they will be able to do it. So I don't really know what's the go with mods. Let me know in the comments, mod developers. People were complaining when the game first announced there wasn't going to be a dedicated mod store on Epic. From what I'm aware, mod support will be available November, I think it is, and there's going to be an integrated store, which is quite huge. I think there isn't any other mods available on the Epic game launcher, and Total War has sort of ushered it in. But people were complaining, oh, I can't just go to Steam and download mods and stuff, but to be honest, I can't think of a single game in recent memory that I've actually used the Steam Workshop for, because the Nexus launcher, in my opinion, is way better for mods, because you can stop auto updates. Darth Mod I've always used for Empire, I've used it off ModDB or TWC. Third Age recently, I've had to install it off ModDB and manually go into the files and have their own launcher. So, especially for me for modding, regardless of if there's a Steam Workshop there or not, for my like 10 years of playing Total War, I've always downloaded it manually. So I don't think it's overly too much of a big deal that it's not going to have day one mod support, to be perfectly honest. I understand that if people don't know how to mod properly and they heavily rely on Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 overhauls for your gaming experience, I get that, but honestly it's not too much of a difficulty that I've found, and there's always plenty of tutorials on installing mods like Third Age, Westeros, Total War, and whatnot. So we seem to be progressing quite well here. Romulus has managed to come and find his way back, and yeah, it's just being a little bit grindy more than anything. Aeneas should be able to defeat their enemy archer. He does have a divine regeneration, which is stamina here as well, so that can get up nice and high. Fantastic. And Romulus is moving up as well. Also, guys, just thought I'd go through some of the corrections in the last video as well, as Aeneas is just hammered through the enemy archer, knocking him off. So I've got some corrections I do need to make. I did note in the last episode that I kept on saying that Aeneas has a health regeneration. It's actually stamina. For some reason, it's just one of those things. You think you're saying stamina, but you're actually saying health regeneration. So that's a correction from the last episode as well. Also, I was saying satyr, like, I don't know, I think there's a YouTuber called Satyr actually, but for the fawn looking thing, it's a satyr. I guess it was just one of those words that I hadn't heard pronounced overly too much in my daily life, so I just assumed it was that. Okay, so we're doing quite well with Aeneas, and we're starting to flank around some other captives there as well. I don't know why Romulus fled like that. Maybe because the hero is getting, like, he's even like raging now, Romulus, which is kind of cool. We could rename some of our settlements if we really wanted to go that far. I don't necessarily like doing that, but like we could call it Rome, like Arretium. We could kind of go down that path if we really wanted to. Naples, Brundisium, rename it and go full Romifier. But spears and shields are clashing against the Thracians here today, once we secure the northern threat. Okay. I'm curious to see how much of a threat they're going to be. And are they more inclined, obviously, Thracians and Macedonians, you think of pikes, you think of heavy axes and stuff. I wonder if that sort of reflects in their unit build. Their other generals now retreating, and we're slowly but surely making our way to the town square, working through the enemy combatants. So also, by the time this video comes out, Troy should be available to the general public. So if you have any questions, any tips and tricks, let me know in the comments. But I do recommend episode 1 of this Aeneas series, where I go through some of the various features. Okay. We're going to win this one against the Thracians. It's just only a matter of time. So we've managed to beat them back, let's say a kilometre, 500 yards or so, back from their choke points, except for a couple of others there. We're not working too well. Aeneas trying to disrupt the archers, maybe targeting these two units that are split might be more beneficial. Okay, so they're now routed as well. And there's more guys sitting idly by. I'm not too fussed about the centaurs sitting back there, the cavalry, because we couldn't really use them in this fight. It's very thin and narrow corridors, compact with infantry. There was no way that they could flank, hit, and envelop units in the city. Still giving chase. Now they're forming back to a decent position. But any infantry that's sitting with their hands in their pockets should push up. And we've broken the right-hand side now, finally. Maybe it was Aeneas sort of disrupting those missile units there. That eventually broke through the, for all intents and purposes, the blockade there. Turned into a bit of a meat grinder, you could say, towards the end. Okay. Ah, they've got some Phrygian axemen as well. Yeah, maybe they share a similar Eastern block unit roster. Or something or other. But I have no idea as well, because this is my first playthrough with Aeneas. I do know what I'm doing a little bit more than the Achilles campaign, because even in that I was still learning building chains and combinations and public order and what you sort of need to focus on. And what's sort of generally around you as well. We have victory now. Let's end it quickly there because it is a siege. A decisive victory at that. 600, 800 for Romulus, and we killed, wow, they deployed 4k all up. We deployed we killed 2.5k. The medium swords, once again, carrying, along with the skirmishes, doing a decent job. But we simply don't know. Wow, that animation, brutal in a decisive victory. He is an absolute born and bred conqueror. This is the story of the man, the myth, the legend, Aeneas. So, yeah, we don't really know what sort of resource-wise is going to be up and around here, because I never actually conquered this area with Achilles. But so far, it seems to be a lot of wood. Maybe a little bit too much, or maybe it's more realistic. The lumber and lush forests of sort of... What is this? This isn't actually Greece in real life, is it? It's more, maybe Turkey, southern Bulgaria, as it were. And, yeah. Well, maybe it is a little bit... No, this looks like more like modern-day Turkey, where we are on the map, technically. Okay, so they have two provinces to themselves here. The these names. The Boar people that I like to call. I just go by the icons. We are Aeneas. We are the Brazen Bucks. And yeah, so it's interesting. They hold two crucial choke points. And we're going to be able to finish them off here and get a supply of harpies. More wood as well. So we should be able to... Well, the thing is, right, I like to get harpies early on and get their bonuses up, but... Oh, it's not a harpy? It's a siren. Oh, well. I misread the mythic unit icon. Okay, no, it is a harpy lookout. Why did I think it was that? I just repaired it. Yeah, so there's more Thracians to the north that are split. Yeah, maybe we're better off going westward rather than east. So grain and more wood. Yeah, look on the border there. 3 lots of wood, which is interesting. Anios is probably our next target. So, Apollonia. Apollonia. Oh, what? Oh, so it was occupied by someone else. I can't even remember now, but they raised it. I don't know why this settlement keeps on getting raised, but we can't take it. Why? Oh, we just need a little bit more food. I thought it might have been military men, but that was it. It was food. Or wood, rather. What? Why would Sarpedon give me 400 food? Whatever. I'll take that. And now we can colonize I don't know why I'm struggling. I go to say Apollonia, but it's not that. Apollonia. So the Thracians are split between there as well. Oh, we've also got access to the Spartoi. Oh, finally, because we've hit tier rank 3 with the Cult of Ares. So these guys look fantastic. I don't know if they're ever related to the Spartans. They kind of remind me of the Immortals of the East, as it were. So we'll look at Aeneas' army build and see if we can take someone out. Yeah, we're better off just disbanding one of these weaker axemen with Romulus than bringing them in. But check out the stats of these guys. 40 armor, 54 melee attack. And all heroes frighten enemy in battle, plus 10 charge, and we have access to the Spartoi, unbreakable, charger, heavy. They have rampage. They have 54 attack and 44 defense, and looking at that, a 131 whopping damage. Looking at comparing to the swordsman, they only have 90 per men, so they're probably not good in auto resolve. However, they've got the armor and stuff to make up for it. Okay. So building chains wise, we've got a marble agora, golden vein here. This is what we're currently going with our edicts as well. Mostly happiness and growth. Bonus to resources where we can. Apprentice armor there as well. And yeah, so I do like the public order growth and buff and the resource growth where we can. Okay, so I guess we go to war with another Thracian faction. I do quite like how they break up ethnicities as well. So Anios, I guess we're going to war with them. They've only got 2 territories, and we'll go westward now with the Spartoi. So we'll declare war straight upon them. They do have a non-aggressional pact with the Sickons, or the sick ones, that I like to call them. So Aeneas now has those Spartoi in his army build, and let's push in and try and take the grain supply against the Aeneas. Hopefully we can take their capital as well. It all sounds quite similar and quite fitting. Yeah, their capital of Aeneas. Aeneas, more like Aeneas. Right, so we should be able to auto-resolve this one out. So 50% favour to the gods. I'm not going to risk it. Aeneas here should be able to make quick work of the Thracian tribes. They are divided. They're easily conquerable. And the way we're sort of naturally progressing, we should be alright. So we'll continue going west as far as we can, and then we might shoot up northwards. I'm more or less curious to go up that way near what was Constantinople. I was about to say modern-day Constantinople. Modern-day Istanbul, as it were. Hey, the Trojan host gathers. We're 47 turns into the Let's Play, so we can support the Trojans. Eventually the Denarns will wage war at any stage. The major question then concerns, where exactly do you stand? So we get a plus 30 relations with the Trojans, and we're going to accept that because we eventually want to try and confederate. Not just yet, because we're going to expose ourselves to other factions. Like, we might need to get defensive alliances and military alliances as well, so we don't want to open ourselves up to that just yet. So, and then Aeneas will try and push over there. So let's scout ahead to see if they've got anyone inside. So they've got a 20 stack, so we might have to do the ambush deploy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move Aeneas as close as we can. We're going to do the ambush strategy that seems to work countlessly in this series. We've done it quite a lot, even in the Achilles series as well, because I do prefer going down the excellent ambusher trait. So, and as we've got Romulus and Aeneas, they're both quite good ambushers. So we'll both go into ambush stance. 9 times out of 10, it works.
set an ambush.
as they move out, but they could just sort of chill there. You never sort of know if we're not exactly successful. Romulus is over in there. Okay. Well, let's end the turn and continue, because during the end turn phase, I'm curious to see if we get this battle. Aeneas. No. Oh, here we go. Oh, what? Oh, well, there's two. Yeah, it was not two bars, but there's one bar that popped up there. So I guess we weren't successful. How did they get past me? Okay, so they've managed to push north and retake their minor settlement. So be it. What I can't stand and hope is if they don't raise it to the ground. Please don't do that. Oh, good, they occupied it. 90 gold for copper. No. Or clay. Bronze, rather. Okay, so a couple of things. What was this trespasser? Ajax. Ah, okay. The guys that raised that settlement to the ground. Giant bowman. Scary. Okay, well, we've got a couple of options. We could have gone for the capital, but I'm actually going to try and destroy their military force. That's definitely the play. Yeah, sorry, I misclicked there. I clicked like withdraw from siege rather than encircle. Good, this is much more in my favour, but these Thracian army builds aren't the best. But I want to fight this one, and we'll finish off the Aeneas. Let's chuck a quick save. And a sacrifice. Okay, just done a hard save as well. Someone was asking me after every single battle, or even throughout the campaign, why do you quick save and go to the main menu and hard save every single time? Honestly, man, I am scarred. I am scarred from years of playing early access. Early access and just broken mods to begin with, that are just like variably unstable, broken, that like because it's not only like if the game crashes first of all, obviously when you're not running with mods, the games are a lot stable, like especially with the newer Total Wars. However, you never know. There are hiccups and problems that do arise, but the problem is, the main thing is if a game crashes for me, it not only can affect the game of where I am at, first of all, it also can corrupt audio and visual footage, which is a shame. But here are the Spartoi for the first time. Like I said, they kind of remind me of the sort of immortals there with their crown. We can't even see them because they're hanging out in the bush. The Spartoi, I'm not actually entirely sure exactly who they're meant to be representing. Are they meant to be Spartans, or what does Spartoi even mean? I'm not entirely sure. But Romulus and Aeneas should be able to make quick work of them. He might have a better duel on his hand because there's an actual fighter and an archer in the city. But like I said at the start of the episode, we're going to be trying to thrash Thracians in today's episode. Even though their army build wasn't the best in auto resolve, in this fight, especially in a defensive one, we should have a good fight on our hands. We'll swing my Centaur cavalry up, try and scout and see if they can see a moment. Those spears are like on the far right, 70% damage. Romulus is now moving up, and we're currently getting sniped off with archers. Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to sit back, relax, and allow the archers to hit me with impunity. Let's cross the distance and engage their infantry as best we can. They seem to be putting a decent amount on this flank here, so we'll target them and then move into the bushes there. Oh, hidden warriors have been exposed. Oh, there's another two there. Ah, they're cheeky. Going through the foliage, getting that that cover. We'll go with a divine challenge, and once Romulus gets in range, we'll deal with their other warlord. And we'll swing at that there. Yeah, sort of Aeneas has an interesting progression because we can tend to go basically northwards. Like, the world is our oyster. But I can't really imagine where Hector goes. I guess he goes, like, eastward into Anatolia, into, yeah, sort of the central highlands and the mountains. But then where does he go? Maybe they sort of plan it that him and Paris sort of confederate quite early on, because I have a feeling they did so in
Victory is close enough to taste.
The Achilles campaign, which I've sieged and taken Troy. I've done 100 turns. I basically hit my short victory conditions. We haven't quite finished the Homeric just yet. Haven't forgot about that campaign, but it's just on a bit of a hiatus as the embargo dropped for Aeneas, and I wanted to play as a Trojan faction. Okay, we'll try and swing around there where we can. And of course I still haven't forgotten my other
Your warriors are losing heart.
campaigns that I still want to pick back up on the channel.
This is it.
Okay, so Romulus is really working his stuff on the archer, while Aeneas is taking the fighter. We might be able to finish off that archer trickster. Romulus, my adopted son, is carving through the lightly armoured archer like carving a cake. I do quite like the sort of the mocap, I guess it is. The cinematic work of the artists there, they look fantastic. Especially when bowmen get drawn into a divine duel, a physical confrontation, they use their bow to their advantage to be able to parry even without a shield. So their right side is collapsing. Charging was definitely the play. If we allowed those archers to focus on us, it could have been a different story. They seem to be still holding in the center in a couple of areas. Let's continue to give chase where we can. But it looks like the majority of the enemy is now in a full retreat. We had like 6k. We probably only lost 100 or so in this particular fight. But would you believe it? It's a shame that those ambushes didn't work. I think the ambush strategy works a lot better because if you declare... So you move in, you trespass, so you take the morale hit, I guess. Or you somehow can get in range of their full stack and then go into hiding, then declare war upon them, because they usually try and move about. When we attacked those Trojan pretenders on the coast in the last episode, really worked a lot. But personally, I prefer land battles. They're always different, they're always unique. I don't mind sieges, but this is just a personal preference. I've been playing Total War for, what, 10 plus years now? I must have been. And sieges, they, for some reason, they always fall into a similar format to me. They divide into choke points quite quickly, and it just becomes a bit of a grind. There's no strategy really in it, and they're usually sluggish. They take a lot longer, and I just kind of find them a little bit boring. To be perfectly honest, if I had to choose, which I am now, obviously in my earlier campaigns, Menelaus, Paris, when I was able to do small, short mini campaigns, hamstrung by early access requirements, like I only had a limited amount of time, limited amount of turns and whatnot. I wanted to try and pack as much content as I can, and I was a lot more liberal with battles in the Achilles campaign, but I'm trying to avoid sieges as much as I can because they're also quite costly. Arrow towers rip through you. You're actually nearly always better off auto-resolving settlements unless you can somehow cheese arrow towers. But we've won here today. But in saying that, we could have very well like simulated this one if we wanted to. So we lost 280. We managed to destroy nearly 3,000 of them on the field of battle, which is crazy, but it's not unsurprising. They mostly had tier 1 spears, tier 1 clubs. They did have decent archers though, and a big slap of head there by Aeneas, who has had a decisive victory. The Spartoi I'm incredibly impressed with, 172, but in saying that, they performed about the same as the medium units. So we're not going to loot and occupy because, well, we already did that. We just want to occupy it now, and we should be able to push upon their capital with ease. There shouldn't be much resistance in there. Okay, welcome to the top of the turn. Aeneas should be able to push for Anios, and there's one unit inside. Wow. Yeah, the auto resolves are never usually on my favour in sieges. There's 16 units inside. It is quite a large and potent city by the look of it. But we do have some line of sight, because I guess I upgraded some ports. In Troy, when you upgrade ports on the coast, you can get better quality line of sight. Okay, so unfortunately we got a -6 morale. Yeah, close victory, really? Maybe we'll try and siege them out. See if that changes the auto resolve at the top of the turn. Or maybe we should just go straight up and do it. We'll give it one more turn. Why not? Okay. Royal decrees. I'm going down the religious side there to get religious buffs because religion is all Aeneas' thing. Securing resource supply is always good. And then tailing your light infantry medium buffs, whatever you want. Ah, minus 100, minus 10 rather again. We got 2 bad omens back to back. We are going to win this one, but at what cost? 1 Aetolian swordsman and some coastal axemen of the second army. So the tier 1s got smacked while the Spartoi and the others were able to hold on. We're going to loot and occupy and pick up that 2.2 grain, the wood, stone and bronze buff. We are making a nice 150 gold per turn, and the faction of Anios has been destroyed. The Brazen Buck has now defeated the, I think it was the goat, I think he was. Let's go with missile there, because we don't have too many spears in our army. Anyway, I'm focusing on more swords than anything. I kind of wish there was, I don't know why he's a buck, like his icon is a deer. I kind of would have liked if it was a wolf. I don't know. It might have been a little bit on the nose, invoking the wolf that suckled Romulus and Remus. Okay, we're going to continue our war against the Thracians and actually push into Thrace, which, yeah, I thought sort of more towards the north was a bit more Thrace.
Don't try and take advantage.
Anyway, the Sickons, yeah. Or the sick ones, I like to call them. We're going to push in, and they have access to centaur units. So, yeah, it does look like the look of this. Like, the further you go north, the further you go into the magical mythical mountains, you tend to get more, well, aptly mythical units. Similar to the Achilles campaign, we got most of our mythical giants, harpies, centaurs, sirens, as we pushed to northern mountain and various areas. Maybe we should grab Mount Olympus on our way as well. With Aeneas, that could be a good idea. Let's loot and occupy. That'll be fine, Matt. Alright, let's replenish and repair where we can. Carpenter. And we don't have the wood just yet. But resource-wise, the main problem we have is grain. We got 1.6k wood because we got like 6 or 7 wood resources. 400 stone, 100 bronze. That's down a lot because of our infantry that costs and needs to be maintained. But grain, we are struggling. But even though we're struggling on grain, the beautiful thing about Troy is you can trade your stuff away. Naturally, where we are, there's not too much grain supply. I've already put too much investment into resource buildings and stuff. But now they're at war with more Thracians, we can do divine retribution. So, make peace? Is that... I've never seen a mission like that. So reading the omens, one of the unique abilities and faction mechanics for Aeneas. Okay. So we've already completed some of the peace. Well, does that... If I completely destroy them, does that negate the peace? Maybe. Okay, so they've got a 20 stack outside. 2 and then 17 inside. You gotta give it to the Thracians. They are castle builders. They have a lot of defensive fortifications inside. We'll end the turn and continue, but we want to try and siege out Ismarkos. And at least finish them off on the western coast. I think the rest of the Thracians are probably northeast. Non-aggression pact with the Tyria. I'm interested for a non-aggression pact, but I'm not giving you 300 gold. That's way too valuable for me. Okay. Let's push to the border here. And now they're sitting in there. Where's that other army hanging about? I just didn't want it to ambush me, so I'm going to move my priestess up. I guess we try and do our ambush stance again. It didn't work last time against the Anios, the previous Thracian tribe, but maybe this time around against the Sickons, Sickons. Yeah, we'll try it for round 2. Allow the priestess to come back into the army fold if we can.
I will do my
and yeah, master ambusher. Yeah, look at all these buffs we get from him. Okay, so I also usually edit out in turns during the editing process just to speed things up. But because we're wanting them to attack us at the end turn, I want to be able to show it through, guys. Hey, here we go. So we've got Hera, Ares, and Athena coming to help us out. So they've got a lot of bowmen. Oh, they've got some centaurs as well, and they're matching us missile for missile. And they have decent spearmen as well. So yeah, we're surrounding them completely. We get a +8 morale buff to all units. Let's chuck a negative motivation. Really? I didn't see this. -38. It's because that's a little bit silly. This character is affected by penalties due to negative motivation. Does it say up here? He's been fighting with us for so long. Maybe because he technically hasn't been fighting and commanding on his own for that much. Because if you look at it technically, Aeneas's ambush, well, it's either Aeneas's ambush failed or Romulus got activated first. He's got now a proper and similar army build. Mostly medium spearmen, spam, and skirmishes. Some people complain about that. Simpzy, use unit variety. Stop spamming the... it was, from what it sort of reminds me of, is in... more so that comment was in the Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD campaign. Oh, come on, Simpzy. Can you stop spamming out dismounted swordsmen? You play as every faction and you keep on spamming dismounted swordsmen. God damn it. I find you guys so funny sometimes, especially your criticism. It's hilarious. Right, so we want to sort of focus on probably their centaurs there. I don't know, guys. I'm so laid back. Like, I really just like care less, to be honest. I find it funny more than anything and entertaining. So it's all just fun and games around here. So here are the sick ones, the Sickons. He's got a nice little horn on his helm. They seem to be like the yellow mango factions. Look how bright this yellow is. To be honest, I do quite like the bright and colours of Troy. Because sometimes if you go too historical, it can get quite dull and boring. I quite like the bright and popping colours, as it were. I like the art style.
Reinforcements are here.
But I could understand if you don't, if you're down for that historical vibe. But as long as you sort of go into what you're expecting. You won't be unsurprised. So, I think the Centaur scouts are probably going to... Yeah, just if they catch it... If they catch us... Catch our missile infantry, that's probably... if they catch our missiles, they're probably going to be the major concern. Aeneas is now coming in, but not often does Romulus take the reins. He takes full control of the army. Well, they're just hitting us here, and they're intertwining with some... Let's countercharge that. Because, yeah, they got one straight up volley on. That's not happening again, mate. We'll go after them. Okay, so Romulus should be able to do alright against their one warlord, and will allow Aeneas to come in and support the left-hand flank. But an interesting tactic that they're deploying, they're intertwining their scout cavalry with their archers, protecting them quite well. They're now running back. We've actually shattered one of that cavalry we were focusing. If they deployed them a little bit better, they could have been a little bit more pertinent. But it does look like the city's to the right of us. Yeah, they're just outside. They've got some Trojan warriors in their build, really. The Aetolians, the Anatolian swordsmen, are doing incredibly well. The medium variant, there are some heavies as well, which look quite cool. Romulus is engaging their leader, and he looks like he's running away. Yeah, look at that. It was an enemy fighter as well. Crikey. We have done tremendously well here today. Once we finish off the Sickons, we have defeated 3 Thracian factions. And we might be able to confederate with some factions soon because the drums of war are pounding. As we had to support the Trojans. I don't know what you would sort of do because, like, I guess you can decline that sort of stuff. You can go out on your own and do like a total war conquest if you want. But with my Achilles campaign, I really wanted to sort of play realistic and...
One of your units has no more ammunition.
Yeah, focus of staying with the Denarns and following what sort of closely happens in the Iliad. Oh, is this a palisade here? Really? What? Is that a deployable? I haven't seen deployables in this, like Total War Attila. There's no, like, spike pits, flaming balls and whatnot. I think that might have been more of an aesthetic thing more than anything. Oh, and I could charge my Centaur warriors in there just as an experiment. Probably not. Speaking of centaurs, their one seems to be the only one that's sort of hanging about. Aeneas is trying to run down some infantry that's holding, but they are basically in a full retreat. Victory! We have victory here today. Okay. So we don't want too many of them running back into the city, as this is an ambush, so we want to try and wipe them. And we want to try and focus in and kill their general as we can. Spam our buffs real quick, and... Oh, he's not even going to be able to catch them anyway. The cavalry might do. But make sure any of my infantry and my units that are in close proximity to someone, try and go for it. Now, they're actually pushing them. They're trying to run back into the city. And they're stuck on the border there, because they can't get over the passable terrain. Ha ha ha. But these guys are fighting them at the gatehouse. Open the gates, please! Ah! Ah! Look at them. And the Anatolian swordsman is basically squishing them. They can't escape because the deployment zone's there, and I guess it's not interactive. Please, no! Ah! Come on, let's try and run him down. Let's put things up to 3 times speed. If we can get rid of their leader, we might be able to basically cause some disharmony, discohesion in there. I've sent my Centaur Savage Warriors over here to try and help out because he's really the last unit. He should be able to blob him down at least and allow Romulus, the heavy hitter, to finish him off. Now, as he's running away, they're not technically in a duel, so other units can come in and help. Savage centaur warriors. Bring him down, spear him and run him through. It kind of reminds me in the Battle of the Two Towers. Or the Two Towers where the Rohirrim surround the 3 splinter members of the Fellowship. At that point, was it Legolas, Gimli?
Hades has claimed the enemy hero.
Aragorn. We are all going to die. The noble day is one of them! Man, well, speaking damn Elvish. He does that, doesn't he? It was on the TV quite recently. Free to air it. TV in Australia actually isn't too bad. I don't actually sit down and watch TV. I just put it on in the background when I'm cooking dinner usually, or waiting for something to render, or I'm doing something. I don't sit down and watch it, but free to air in Australia always seems to put on like the sagas of shows like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I can't speak. Thief. That's why I know so much about those movies now. But yeah, he just randomly breaks out of speaking Elvish. Okay, ancestral ties. We need to raise or sack the city, plus 60 favour to Apollo. Yeah, make peace with them. I ain't gonna do that because that basically burns 60. Yeah, so burns 60 favour that we can't get, but it also burns 10 turns because then we become unreliable, and we're trying to boost up our overall rating. I don't want to bring it down because I want to get confederations. Okay, so Romulus. We'll go with Allied territory because I do actually convalesce and replenish and repair when I run back. And we'll try and finish off this smaller stack here with only 7 men. I'll chuck a save. There's no point of gambling the sacrifice. Oh no, Romulus is about to kill an old man. Oh! A phenomenal strike. 3 quick cleaving blows, as it were. Romulus is now ranked 13 and has the armor of Hephaestion, which is cool. Now that we just knocked them all out, we might take the morale buff so we can push in and help out sieging Ismaros. Yeah, 14. So he's a little bit behind Aeneas, but I want him to be the spitting image of Ajax. I'm curious to see if there was we could see a comparison between turn 55 with Aeneas and my Achilles campaign and the overall of my lords. But Aeneas with 21, he's probably played a lot more battles than Achilles. We did struggle a little bit to find enemy combatants and people willing to parley. Okay, so let's auto-resolve this one out. We'll sacrifice to the gods. No, -9. So I guess that negates the buff that we had with Romulus. Apollo isn't going to come, it's just Ares and Athena. And I love that animation, just the turn of the head and the roll. So we lost 1 Anatolian swords, 2 in that other army. So it's not too bad, but we are taking a province there. Whoa! 3.2k. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 8k. I normally would loot and occupy, but I think I'm going to have to sack to get that mission done. But that was... Are they usually that wealthy, those type of cities? Maybe not. It's a region or provincial capital in Thrace, so maybe not. So we had to sack this quickly. I don't know why the camera does this sometimes, but so be it. We shall occupy the city, and now we have access to Centaur units permanently. And we've defeated the Sickons. So Divine Will. Do we find anyone else? Ah, what's this? 20% morale. Orpheus. Have we found anyone else? No. We haven't just yet. Okay. I wonder who they are. 3 regions that way. Off the coast. I think we're better pushing east. What? This is an ultimatum. If you decline this offer, you'll be at war with them. I was already heading up towards you anyway, mate. The Thracians of the Thraces have declared war upon me. Okay, it looks like we're dealing with them in the next episode. They have just sealed their fate. To be fair, I've annexed 3 Thracian tribes. So guys, unfortunately on that note, it's time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching episode 3 of my Troy A Total War Saga Let's Play. I've had an absolute blast here today. We've destroyed 3 Thracian tribes, and we just saw at the end there one of the new and unique mechanics for Troy. They can send out ultimatums. So we had a choice. We could have accepted the military access, but because I'm already going up that way, they can take the morale hit as well, because it's going to be a defensive war. So we finished off 3 Thracian factions. We sort of border now with Western Macedon. We're sort of getting towards that territory, so we could wrap down in through there. In and around Troy itself, there's not really too much opportunities. I want to try and confederate with someone. Maybe we might be able to confederate with Hector. I'm going to prioritize him in the next episode. Maybe Sarpedon. Paris is probably my third choice, but we'll just have to see. And we could push up towards that Bosphorus, Istanbul, Constantinople region. That's probably the play. Well, the Thracians, or the Thracians, or whatever they're called, have just declared war upon me, so we've got to deal with them. So, much love from Australia, guys. Stay tuned for daily Troy content on the channel at 12 PM, or 12 AM, technically, Australian time. 3 PM British Standard Time, and then for the US, it's usually early in the morning. Unfortunately, guys, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comment section down below your feedback for the series, and if you'd like to see more, that's the best way to ensure more content. Leave a dislike if you're not enjoying the series. Check out my social media links if you want to stay connected with me. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all in the description below. Patreon and merchandise link in the description below, along with the Steam group. Come and join the community on Steam. And on that note, unfortunately, I have to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching once again. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpzy. Goodbye.